Hello, my friend. I'm so happy to have you join me for this special episode as we get all geared up for fall, the 5 to 9 after your 9 to 5, creating evening routines that actually stick. I have had so much fun talking to people about their 5 to 9 across actually scouring Reddit boards for this topic. Also, the girls and their friends are having so much fun with all the people who are talking about this on social media. And it's been a fun term around the house is how do you spend your 5 to 9? And of course, we are going to get into all of it today, but let me just preface that with we know schedules and seasons shift. We also know that some of you are like, my 5 to 9 is actually 6 to 10 or 7 to 11, or it's a morning schedule. Wherever you're having that beautiful Goldilocks time of the day where you are getting to rest. And I hope you're having it somewhere. If not, let this be a reminder to do it at all. This is for you so that you can truly allow yourself the intentional living you need and deserve after your hard work is done, or in some cases before, because you need to do it that way for your schedule. I am so grateful to get to process this with you because I know that this could be a game changer for your fall or whenever you're listening. And I'm so glad because I love nothing more than helping you to live intentionally. And I am reminded by Ben Franklin's quote about how he asked every morning, what good shall I do this day? And end each evening, what good have I done today? And I love that so much as a starter here because of course, I want you to be thinking about your 9 to 5 also and doing good there. It's not like I'm looking at like, oh, only let's rest all day. It's these are particular hours that work really well for the human person. It's the Goldilocks zone, right? It's 3.5 to 4 hours a day that works really well for us to rest. And then the rest of the day, we are thinking about what good could I do? What good could I bring? And that is so important for you to reflect on and even begin your day with. I'll go into my routines a little bit too, but as we talk, I want you to know that part is not forgotten. It's not our focus today, but that is a really big part. So we'll breeze through that part and mostly focus on that later part of the day, not only as an individual, but also about couples. And yeah, so I love that Ben Franklin practice of those two questions. What good shall I do? And what good did I do? I also have a lot more to say about Ben Franklin. This is not a history podcast. I'm not going to judge him. There's just a lot to say, good and bad. So we'll move on now. But definitely really love that you're here. Welcome to your fall. If this is when you're starting, I know this is when we're really gearing up. We have the theater drop off tonight, the music lesson drop off tomorrow. Soccer is starting. Wes's small group with our boys is starting. Everyone was getting their book out today. It's a fun book called The Case for Christ Junior Edition that he and another friend lead. And I'm so glad because our kids need shepherds, right? And there's so many things that I can't do as a parent that you can't do if you're a parent too, that we have to co-opt out for other healthy adults to do for our kids. And so this is the time of year we do it. My son's doing all these piano lessons and things, and his teacher's like, you have to do like he's doing them on his own. He's creating music. And it's like, she's like, you have to do the classics too. And it's just like this time of year for us also, for us to be like, all right, yes, we get into these rhythms and we find these ruts. Maybe we want to play video games all night, or we want to just exercise only, or we want to just stay on our phones. But the truth is, when we find the new seasons, it gives us courage to find new balance and new healthy rhythm. So that's what we're doing today. All of us, me with you. My daughters are also doing this. Also, Melody, if you're not following on Instagram, you might not have seen this, finally got her license. So excited. Little drum roll here. So thankful and excited. Me and her have been baking our sourdough for everybody. And also now she can drive it instead of me sending Hannah or Melody just having to rely on Hannah. It is so fun to see my type 9 child come through, pass her test, which was so hard, harder than the license to drive teacher, it felt like to me, if you ever saw that old Corey Haim movie, and just really, finish something that she worked really hard at and didn't come as naturally to her as singing or theater or dance in some ways have. But for those nines out there, a lot of things don't come as easy for nines. So even when I say that, I'm like, I kind of knew it was going to come hard, but some of your routines might be like this too, where you're like, girl, I am trying to just find ways to eke out even having this little daily Sabbath zone or Goldilocks zone, but you deserve it. Just like Melody, who had to work for everything, you deserve to find your way here. And I'm going to help you do it. So I want to give you first that foundation, just like I said, to allow yourself the beautiful first part of the day, just a quick go over of that. And that is just as you wake up, a good reminder to you is to get your angst out if you have any. A lot of people start with a jolt. There's some certain hormones that are higher at the first thing in the morning. So people run to their phone. And I want to encourage you to take some deep breaths, get a full glass of water. I've heard Michael Hyatt say he does that too. Allow yourself to just replenish your brain. And maybe you do check your phone too, but check for emergencies. Is everything okay? And then allow yourself to come into your spiritual practice. Maybe for you, that's meditation. For me, it's often writing down morning pages of any elements that lead to gratitudes, that lead to plans. That was my rhythm today. It usually just happens, but if it doesn't, then I try to make that intentional rhythm happen. Sometimes you also, maybe in the morning, if you're like me, want to examine, did any of my dreams have any meaning? Are they trying to remind me of something? And that's good too, because you're letting your inner life get cleansed before you start serving. But I also want you to know that you're unique. And so your unique rhythms are important season by season. Make sure they're healthy as you start your day, then get to your work, whatever it is. Usually that's what we do, whether it be something inside or outside of the home. And then after work, you'll probably, if you haven't already started with your workout in the daytime, this will be a really good transition for you from work. So I say that because a lot of people are having this experience of coming home. And this is, again, what I also saw in Reddit. A lot of people are coming home and they are just zoning out immediately. But some people are, before they're going to the video game world or the TikTok world or the television show world. One guy said, I look at my apartment, everyone in the condos is just watching TV all night. This is what everyone does. And he's like, I can't decide if this is because people are all just relaxing or if everyone is like basically Brave New World kind of thing, like zoned out. And I definitely don't want you to think that it's wrong to truly relax and to wind down with TV. We love that. We're a TV family, guys. I have people with that 9 in my family. And so many love their TV. And I've come to see that even statistically, it's better for us than doom scrolling and such. So I'm not guilting you, but just don't let that be your whole nighttime routine. And if you haven't had any physical activity, I really am stressing that here, because with so many people on GLP-1 medications, and my husband, who is a PA, was just telling me this too, Wes, it is absolutely happening that a ton of people are having this sarcopenia experience where they're losing muscle mass along with all the wonderful fat they're losing. And so when I say wonderful fat, like I get it that they want to lose the fat. It might even be what they need to do. But then instead of working out to keep the muscle mass or to neutralize it a bit, they're missing that. They're taking this on a short-term basis. The weight is coming back, but it's coming back as all flab because they've lost muscle mass, especially Wes said in middle age and beyond. So make sure you're doing that. And I just want to add in that even if you can only do fitness at a small level because you're like, I'm tired, then try the 7-minute workout app. It is phenomenal. I have used it so many times, so many years. I'm not in that season right now because next week I should be finishing my Pure Barre 500th class. I'm just really enjoying that as a rhythm routine. Again, not always, actually, I shouldn't always use the word enjoying, but it's a good practice because it's very hard. And sometimes for me, can be boring to sit and do something for almost an hour as a type 7. And actually, I go with my friend Glenda, or I get new friends to go with me. Like my friend Eileen just went with me, and the girls go a lot with me. And we have so much fun doing it because it feels good for our muscles and our bones, but it doesn't always feel like ideal. But I'm telling you, it's a good part of your 5 to 9 if you haven't put it in at the beginning of the day, whatever it is. I just had a client, in fact, say she started to go to Pure Barre because she's like, you told me about it and she's loving it. I had another couple tell me they're doing Pilates. So shout out to all of you doing these great things, but it doesn't have to be exactly that. It could be that you're doing a really brisk walk and that is awesome for you. Or like Hannah and I took a mile jog today. It wasn't even fast. You know, I don't do that anymore, but it was good for us. It was just like, this is what we need to get our muscles moving. Yes, it hurt, but it was good for us. And that was something that we're like, oh my gosh, it's still so hot in Florida. We need to sometimes do this in the north. We'll be visiting other places, I'm sure. And so we'll get to do that somewhere else eventually. But for those of you who live north, do this outdoor workout for us. We can't do it yet. So that is an important part of your either morning or night routine, cannot be left out. Absolutely. So important for your hormones and for your body. Now, Again, how you do it is up to you. I also want to land in the reminder that couples need 6 to 10 hours together through the week. It could be that you are maybe a long distance couple and I saw some people saying we FaceTime for an hour while we cook dinner, even in the shower. They're like, hey, my spouse has to work out of state. Like we're just doing routines together. And I think that's great. I was boxering my friend this morning while putting my contacts in. So it doesn't have to be a particular time, but within that span, there should be healthy, good shit, a workout, and also a time of connecting. And so often we'll do that as a walk and talk, or sometimes we'll have a breakfast in the morning. It's not quite as important, but we're trying to find some time in that day to have some time to talk, not just as coupon conversations like, did you grab the lawn care of some sort, or did you make sure to get that book mailed out? Those kinds of things. Did you take back that package, right? The Amazon deliveries we're always running to and fro. And so I think it's important that you intentionally lean into your spouse here. It could be actually a physical leaning in. I know we've talked about furniture and how hard that is for me now that we have this comfortable beanbag and I like find myself lounging on it. But honestly, when I lean into my husband, I feel better physically. And so just finding a physical way to lean in, or finding a way to allow yourself that comfort, to have a good conversation that's connecting, a walk and talk, whatever it is. Yes, your favorite show counts here. Make sure some of that is part of it. Just be conversing and together, not like we're watching a show, but really we're both on our phones. That's not connecting. So another thing you can do is pray at this time where you're just really enjoying time of connecting soulfully. And another thing you can do is serve together. Something else you could do would be take a drive together, or allow yourself to enjoy just a moment of course, eating together. That's the common one most of us like to try to do. So I want you to try for one of those. It does not have to be all of those. You are nuanced. There might even be things I'm missing where you're like, girl, we love our video games together. But definitely allow yourself the time to do the fun things that you like too. I was just talking to some young adults at church this morning. One of the girls' friends wanted to go to a different church and we went with all of them. And these guys were saying, yeah, we like can get so caught up all night long in the video games. And I'm like, I totally get it. Like no judgment. It's just a matter of what can I do that's the 1% better. It's so healthy when we allow our brains to switch slowly. And if you're like, hey, I am so good at ripping the Band-Aid and starting off, it's a new season, Christa, like you're getting me moving, my momentum's up, great. But if you're like me, and sometimes you need to allow for a slower transition and a routine that works more consistently, then you might just allow yourself to say, I'm not picking up that video game controller until I have already done X and Y, my workout and spending some quality time with my spouse. That's it. Now I get to pick it up. So it doesn't mean you have to throw away your favorite things. It just means approach it a little differently, because this time of your day is actually your rest, your Sabbath. Also, one of the young adults I talked to said he actually put a hammock out in his backyard, and he's using it to see God's nature and beautiful creation and pondering a dragonfly. So don't compartmentalize that all Gen Zers would do this, all millennials would do this, all Gen X, all boomers. Allow yourself to come into the healthy rhythms that you need. And just don't forget that we have that little Sabbath each day. I know that Solomon talks about that in Ecclesiastes as well. Now, before we go, I'm just going to share some of my routines in the evening. So basically what I'll do is in the day, I have sections of my day for writing, for podcasting, and for counseling and coaching. Then I have a post Monday through Wednesday that's already pre-scheduled. So if you see me and you're wondering, like, I know you're not resting during your 5 to 9, at 9 p.m., that post is scheduled ahead. And we finish the post by 6. And actually, Hannah finishes all the design. So I'm done with it well before 6, usually in the morning. And so that is something that I do. Now, sometimes I will enjoy commenting with somebody at the 9 o'clock hour, but you've already received the fact that I'm past my 5 to 9 hour, or I might have a client till 5:15, 5:30, and my night extends till 10 or 10:30 or 11. But sometimes that's how you are too. It's not going to be this perfect, like 5 to 9. Like I said, it's going to have a little rhythms, but as you can see, that's part of mine. And something else I do is I don't ask the exact Ben Franklin question. Personally, my question is, what were 3 wins today? Because I can be so perfectionistic on myself. I have a 1 arrow also. And it's like, I can be like, I got so many things done, Wes and I are both high achievers. So we're both like that. And then at the end of the day, if I don't say, what did I get done? I could be just like, oh, I miss doing this because I can be such an idealist. And so instead, I have this fun routine, which I love as a 7, where I say, what did I do? What did I get to do? And it feels really good. And I'm like, wow, I did 3 things. And by the way, sometimes I have to work with my internal type 3 in me also that says you should have achieved more. And I will actually almost like an internal white knuckle it and go, okay, you played a game of upwards with Jack. Like that was a really good part of your day. And that is one of your 3 things that you did because that was really good for your relationship with your son, or Boggle, because those are 2 games we love playing. We can compete a lot in those because he's very thinking type with me. And so it's those little moments that you can also include in your, reflection as you head into your 5 to 9 is some people will not even allow themselves to get to the 5 to 9 because they're like, I'm so perfectionistic like you, Christa, that I want to keep going. And that really helps me to transition. I don't always do it perfectly, but it really helps because I'm like, you did this, and you did this. Now you get to take a deep breath to transition. And if there's an emergency, I tell my clients I do have a premium price difference for later evening sessions because those are times when I have to very specifically go in, hunt down a time when it's convenient and helpful. But I do get that occasionally clients are like, I have an urgent matter and we only, we have little kids, so I need to talk to you later. So it's not like I'm rigid. It's just that I really have learned about these rhythms in my life. And I'm thrilled that even younger generations are picking up on this too. So while your kids are going back to school, while you're in this place of transition anyway, you might as well get it down and start asking yourself the very same questions that you've heard me asking. What do I need to do to rest, to work out, to have good conversations? You're hearing me say, I'm right there with you, and I'm learning this new semester what I'm going to need to do. And I'm trying to figure out when I'm placing my Pure Barre classes or running. And those are going to be alongside people in my family. So we can make them part of that 5 to 9 a lot of the time. And also, when am I going to fit in my times with my husband so that we don't miss each other? Yes, I love my weekly date nights. That's my wrap up time for the week. That is my adult time where I finally get to just like, whew, breathe. It's done. Laugh, enjoy, dream, and actually reignite with my husband because we've maybe been busy all week. And so it's like, yes, even if you have your weekday rhythms, don't forget that the 6 to 10 hours also includes some really nice weekend recharging. So we're going to talk about weekend recharge this Wednesday because I want to help you through your whole week. But today we got to talk about the 5 to 9. So the questions I want to leave with you, especially if you're in one of these categories, I'll do that now. And it is, I want to ask if you're a body type in 8, 9, or 1, how are you going to make sure that your nighttime routine allows you to let go of that non-negotiable physical movement or exercise because you're a body type and you need to release that and you need some gentle structure and you need beauty and order, but not perfectionism. And if you're a heart type, I want to ask you how you're going to process through emotions and image, whether through conversation or journaling, and just allowing yourself to focus on being and caring for you, not just everybody else, and allowing for creative expression. How are you going to do that? And for head types, how are you going to process through your thinking and planning? You're going to need to move from work thoughts to home thoughts, which you're hearing me say. Sometimes I do this through my class, even if it's hard or it's boring to sit through it. It's so good for the soul to release. You're hearing me say, do this through the deep breaths, but you need some quiet restoration time, at least a walk, to try to avoid routines that feel like they just keep you in the same work rhythms. So that is your critical question. How are you going to do that? And I also want to just allow you to take a moment to visualize for you right now what it's going to look like. Allow yourself to ask, what is it going to look like for me to be intentional with my 5 to 9? These are a gift to you. Hold them wisely, but also lightly. And remember, you'll need some freedom to hold to, because if you start going crazy with your spouse, especially women, if you start to go crazy on your spouse and being like, lock in, I need you to do everything this one way every evening, that's going to be hard. So make sure that we're going to be talking about the weekend healthy rhythms too this Wednesday. And also we're going to talk about the Enneagram Intensive for those who are ready for a deeper dive in their marriage. I am happy to be bringing this back as we all go back to school together a little bit. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.